We are really lucky to be joined today by Ozi Batla at the 3 Things Hip Hop approach. How you going?
Good, thanks Michelle. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thanks. So could you tell us what are your 3 things that you would do to change the world?
Yeah, my 3 things it's pretty broad. So I think the first step is to educate yourself. You can just make a lot more difference if you're educated, and I think just in this country I don't know if we value that enough, because it's very easy to go out and make money and do things without being educated, and I think for me that's the first step, is to educate. Secondly, I think you need to find out what you're passionate about and be involved in that, because if you have a passion for it, you have a vested interest in something, you're going to have motivation to do more and to go further. And thirdly, I think empathy is important, you know, to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and consider how your actions or whatever it is the situation might impact on them as well. Just to give yourself a different perspective, because obviously we're all individuals, but there's 5 billion people in the world as well, so there's 5 billion different experiences. So that's my 3 things.
Excellent. So you have been in the Aussie hip hop community for a while now. So do you think there's anything more that we could be doing as an Aussie hip hop community to help the world and to help our communities as well?
Yeah, I think that's a personal decision for anyone who's involved. It's as much as you want to do or as little. So, I mean, personally, I've found that using my knowledge and trying to pass that on to other people, be it through workshops or just through mentoring young artists, I think that's important. I think hip hop has a long history and a culture that it should be passed on, and if it's not in the context of the bigger picture, then I don't think it's as powerful. So I think it is a very powerful tool for expressing political ideas or social justice ideas, but people need to be aware of the history that's involved. So I think personally I've just tried to pass that information along.
Yeah. So how has hip hop helped you and changed your world as you see it today?
Well, I think it's changed, made me more confident as a person to express my ideals and what I believe in, and it's also taken me to some amazing places. From Papua New Guinea to Indonesia to North America to Aboriginal communities it's just been I've got as much back, or probably more than I think I've given, so it's just pushed me.
So in the process of educating, you've also been able to educate yourself and expand yourself through hip hop?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle.
We have 2 of Australia's finest beatboxers sitting right here, Rivals and LC Beats. Welcome.
What's up?
Great. So you're part of the hip hop approach as well. What are your 3 things to change the world?
Our 3 things are we've chosen 3 of things that were really close to our hearts. The first one being respect, which is a big thing in hip hop, but is actually something that should sort of come across in life in general. You need to respect people of other races, respect other cultures, and there's not enough respect around there like these days. So I think being able to respect and understand where people are coming from is a big thing. So and obviously it's a big thing in hip hop as well. So that was one of our first things. The second thing was compassion. And for us, there's not enough. We don't feel there's enough compassion in the world. There's not enough people like who can sympathise with the situations that other people are in. The poverty that people are in. Like a great example is that crazy SBS show. About taking people overseas and making them go through all this what they have to do to be a refugee.
Yeah, where's the humanity in that?
I mean the thing is that people shouldn't really need to be forced to go on a massive life-changing journey. To be able to just feel a little bit of empathy for people. Just put yourself in their shoes, and that's all you need to do. So You know, so that's the other one, and the last one for us was knowledge. And I guess, you know, all three kind of link into each other, because you know, the more the knowledge that you have about other people, about other races, about what's going on in the world, about you know, about the divides between cultures, you know, the divides between classes, and the more you can learn, you know, the better you're going to be. So keep an open mind, and you know, and be that sponge and suck up all that knowledge, man. Hey, so that's our three things, man. Hey, like
love them.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Elsie, I understand that you haven't been beatboxing as long as Rivals, and he's kind of taken you under his wing a little bit. So what have you learnt from Rivals?
Well, ever since day one, like, he's been my mentor, I guess. Like, he's taught me all the tricks of the trade and all his new skills, and he's been a good mentor.
How do you learn to improve your beatboxing skills? Like, what's involved? Do you have like daily exercises?
Constantly making noises.
Constantly making noises.
Okay.
Irritating people.
Yeah. Drives my wife mad.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you know, it's really just about that. It's like, you know, you hear something, or you come up with something, or a lot of the time you might just be listening to music and you hear like a thing in it, and you go, I'll try to emulate that, you know, and you'll do it over and over until you get it right.
Constant practice.
You know, and it's not like also like the Elsie's come on and he's, you know, he's like a clone of me. He's got his own whole style. There's actually, I learn off him as well. So you know, it's you know, it's a two-way thing for us.
Really good. So I know you also do some claymation, motion filmmaking, and specifically are passionate about graffiti artists and, you know, what they have to go through and their art, which is really good. But how do you feel graffiti can help change the world as well?
Well, I think like nowadays graffiti is seen, like, it's being exposed more as a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Like, I think a lot of people still see it as negative, but I mean, a lot of artists, a lot of street artists now, they're exhibiting in galleries, and I mean, even today we've got the live art shown. Like, I think there's people getting more educated about graffiti as a whole, and it's not seen being a negative thing, which I think is good. But,
do you do it yourself as well?
Yeah, I do a little bit myself, yeah. But I mean, I think there needs to be more legal rules for people to practice their art, and yeah.
I mean, one of the things that people don't realise is that graffiti art has ingrained itself into modern culture as we know it, just like hip hop has. You know, like back in the 80s, if you were wearing a pair of trainers, you were out jogging. You know, these days everyone wears trainers.
Exactly.
You know, and that's urban fashion, and it's basically came through with hip hop. You know, so and graffiti art. I mean, you look at a lot of the modern, you know, graphic arts that are getting put out there, advertisements, you know, stuff like that. It's creeping into everything, man. Comic art, you know, everywhere, because it's a lot of the young guys that are doing art now, you know, all started out from that background. So yeah, so
I think that people have realised that it's not going to stop. You know, it's always going to be there. Yeah, exactly. So people have to be more accepting of the fact that it's going to stay around. It's not going to go away. So that's one of the main words.
And we're really proud in Australia that, you know, we have some of the best graffiti artists in the world, and have had probably one of the strongest graffiti cultures here, you know, since the 80s, and you know, and that's something I'll always defend. You know, and for me, graffiti is the core of the hip hop culture in Australia. You know, no doubt. So people were writing before we were doing anything. You know? I mean, we were breaking first, but graffiti was the thing that, you know, that Australia really dug into, and that's what we're really good at.
Okay, awesome. So through respect,
Yep.
and you have compassion,
Yep.
and the knowledge,
Yep.
we can use hip hop to change the world.
Yep.
Yes, and you guys are a great example of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very passionate about what you do, and I'm sure that will reflect in what you do, and it'll help inspire others to do the same.
Good.
So yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Peace.